Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that's actually quite dear to me, a game that I have loved for years, and it currently is coming out with a sequel this year as well as a new gacha title, which some people might be a little bit offended by. But that game series is Disgaea, and on this video we're going to be previewing Disgaea 6 and we're also going to be previewing Disgaea RPG. So if you know nothing about these games, you'll get to find out a little bit more. If you're already a fan of these games, I bet you're already excited for what's to come. Anyway guys, let's get right into the video.
Look at how dynamic I've become! This anime really rocks! I'm Lahoro, the Supreme Overlord! Now to take the main role!
So this year will be a big year for the long-running Disgaea series from developer Nipponichi. Not only is the strategy RPG about to launch its 6th game in the mainline series, well, technically it's 7 because there has been a spin-off, Disgaea D2, which is the only sequel they've ever put out to one of the games in the series, and it was actually a direct sequel to the first game. All the other games are independent of each other. They're also going to be releasing a gacha title globally this year called Disgaea RPG. And in this video, I'm going to be covering both of these titles. So, let's start off with a little background. Disgaea is a strategy RPG that is all about the grind. First off, you've got to grind to get your character stronger, as you would expect. Now, grinding in this game takes on a life all of its own, because once you've reached max potential for your characters, there tends to be an element where you can reincarnate your character and start again from level 0. Think about it something like Prestige. But what would happen is, once you reincarnate, your base stats would be higher than if you were at just level 1 without reincarnating. So you can do this over and over and over again to reach higher and higher heights and better damage numbers, which become very important when you're taking on the post-game content in this title, because one thing Disgaea prides itself on is a very difficult post-game, and it's where most of the meat in Disgaea games are to be found. Not only do you level up your characters in Disgaea, you've actually got to level up your gear as well, and things like armour, weapons and accessories all have to be levelled up to make you stronger and perform better in battle. How you do this, however, is actually one of the unique elements of this title. There's a thing in the game called the item world, and how the item world works is it's a unique portal that you enter that will give you a randomly generated set of levels depending on the item that you are trying to level. So for example, if you're trying to level a weapon that's slightly lower rarity than a legendary weapon, for example, it'll take less floors for you to clear and get to its max potential. So what you do is you enter this world, you actually fight your way through different floors. Some floors can present a big challenge with regards to enemy difficulty, other floors can have unique twists on it, like the floor can cause damage, you can't throw anybody, things like that, and it adds a unique spin to gameplay because there's a never-ending amount of items for you to level, and you can constantly get lost in the item world should you choose to do that. Now, gameplay will be instantly familiar to anyone who's played the old Final Fantasy Tactic style games, but it's the zany cast of characters and hilarious storyline that make the Disgaea titles stand out amongst other more serious JRPG titles. The latest game in the mainline series is launching this summer, and despite the game being available on PS4 and Switch in Japan, globally, it's only going to be available on the Nintendo Switch. So this will mean it's the first time a mainline Disgaea title has not been available at launch on Sony's platform, well, at least outside of Japan. But fear not, PlayStation fans, it's only a matter of time, as Disgaea has a habit of launching a complete edition of its newer titles, including all the DLC. So it might take a year, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a global launch for Disgaea 6 complete at some point in the next 12 months. So hang tight, you'll be able to get your Disgaea fix pretty soon. Now, this change in strategy is not the only thing different about this Disgaea title, it's also the first time the game will ditch the 2D style in favour of full 3D graphics. Now, this obviously won't be to everyone's taste, as the art in previous titles does look great, but one thing's for sure, the new super attack animations do look fantastic. Now, apart from the visual change, this is still the same Disgaea that fans know and love. The game's plot revolves around a zombie named Zed and his sister Biko as they embark on a journey across the Netherworlds to face off against an entity known as the God of Destruction. No Dragon Ball fans, this is not Beerus. As usual, fan favourites like Laharl, Etna and Floan will show up in the post-game content, so get ready for some over-the-top antics and a crazy amount of grinding when Disgaea 6 launches globally on the Nintendo Switch on the 29th of June. Now, the other Disgaea title that I mentioned early in the video that's due to launch this year is the mobile title Disgaea RPG. Now, this one is a free-to-play gacha title, and I say free-to-play with my tongue firmly planted in my cheek, because as you'll probably know, if you've ever played a gacha game before, yes, they're free-to-play, but if you want to get the things that you want, you either need to spend a crazy amount of time grinding up whatever the currency is to hopefully get lucky and pull what you want for free, or do what they want you to do, which is drop money and try and summon for your favourite characters. But be warned, if you've not played a gacha game before, they tend to be quite difficult to get what you want. So this is something I'm not so sure traditional Disgaea fans will actually be a huge fan of. It takes all the characters fans have come to love from the series to date, and it puts them all together in one game in this massive character collectathon. The main difference here is the gameplay is actually more traditional turn-based rather than the strategy RPG that we're currently used to. From what I can tell from Japanese footage and people that have played the beta, this has a level of complication that Disgaea fans have come to expect with regards to the grinding and the levelling, but a more simplified approach to the gameplay. So it's a little bit confusing who they're actually trying to make this title appeal to, as the level of complexity and some of its mechanics will probably turn off the more casual players that typically play gacha style games. So it's going to be difficult to see how this is going to take a foothold in the global market. Either way, I'm looking forward to playing this one, and I will be doing gameplay for this, but it'll be over on my other channel, so if you're not subscribed to that, make sure you check that one out as well. So this one really is a big year for Disgaea, and whether you're new to the franchise or you've been here for years, there's definitely going to be plenty to keep you busy. So let me know in the comments down below, are you excited for either of these new titles? Have you ever played a gacha game before? Do you think you'll be enticed to try Disgaea RPG, or are you just more looking forward to the traditional Disgaea 6? Are you a PlayStation fan? Are you disappointed that in the West you're not going to be able to get Disgaea 6 at launch? Let me know in the comments down below. As always guys, if you would take the time to sub to the channel, I'd appreciate it. Like this video, and as always, I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.